So we're here today at Mellon Park in Pittsburgh. We drove through some very economically distressed neighborhoods to get here, and we drove through some very wealthy neighborhoods to get here. The contrast was amazing. And, you know, it says in the Bible, money is the root of all evil. But we've thought of a way to turn the use of money to good. We can actually feed all the hungry, house all the homeless, clothe the naked, take care of the sick, and rehabilitate those in prison. And we can completely eliminate our dependence on foreign oil if we grew hemp and we used the biomass to make hemp seed, and we can use that as an energy source. We can use hemp seed as a food source, and it's a complete protein source. You don't have to eat meat. You don't have to actually eat anything else except perhaps a little dairy to be completely healthy. So why aren't we growing nature's gentle remedy? Let's pray about that. I hope the kids who posed for those statues are safe. We're safe. You know, the things that are coming out. A year ago, I would have looked at that and said, look, that's so cute. That looks like my grandkids. And right now, I look at that and I say, what happened to those kids? Because they have their hair like Native Americans. Sure. That's just like the Queen's castle in Narnia, isn't it?
And Penn State was a hotbed for mind control research there, from testing toxins and radiation on people to hypnosis and drugs. And like many university towns where this research was being carried out, the CIA, under national security letters, would corrupt a local judge or magistrate or two, and a prosecutor, and state police, and somebody in the FBI field office, to make sure, in case there was a leak from any of this research getting out, that they just made it disappear. It's very real. There was an MK Ultra. They were drugging unwitting American civilians with experimental drugs, LSD, and anything else they could get their hand on. George White, Anslinger's number 2 at narcotics and working for the CIA in this mind control project, admitted to raping and killing American civilians in his resignation letter. So he was evil, and his mind control research involved torturing people and tormenting them psychically and sexually and with drugs until they developed a split personality, and they've got a Manchurian candidate. And that was kind of epicentered, some of that research, at Penn State. Detective George White, when he was looking for mind-controlled drug agents, noted that cannabis was the best truth serum that our government had in its arsenal. It worked better than sodium pentothal. It worked better than, I don't know what it's, scopolamine. They also discovered that cannabis breaks mind control programming, that mental compartmentalization that they create to create a split personality mind control subject. Cannabis breaks down that psychic wall, and the deep state hates cannabis for that reason. People that they've carefully programmed at the cost of millions of dollars over years get a little bit of cannabis, and all of a sudden their personalities bleed back together. Time after time, cannabis disrupts mind control programming. It smokes out these mind control slaves and makes them reveal themselves, and it makes even their masters, their handlers, reveal themselves. Cannabis is the tree of life. They call it cannibalism in Hebrew in the Bible. It's the tree of life. It is the truth serum. And with it, we will smoke out all evil. We will heal those who have been subject to PTSD from trauma, experimental traumas. We'll heal them so they don't pass it on to the next generation again. And that's what we're here for.
Our tax dollars to protect themselves.
And guide her through the night with the light.
These could be my kids. I love these kids. That's the spirit of America. These are they're good protesters. They didn't.
You know what? I love it that they believe in something enough to get out and go march around and do something about it.
They're not sitting on
Good
their
for
ass playing
them.
video games.
That's
They're
right.
doing
Good
something.
for them. Good for them. That kind of energy just needs to be harnessed and directed in a productive direction.
Mary loves America. Mary loves children. Mary wants to see America great again. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Go back to Europe, Whitey!
No, we know women in that.
Go Trump! They also do cancer screening. This is from goddamn
Then you're loving me.
Who protects the fascists? Who protects the fascists? Who protects the fascists? Who protects the fascists? Police protect the fascists!
Police protect the fascists!
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this great country, and we thank you for raising up a great leader in these difficult days.
And it triggers things. It's terrible. Cannabis. Each country. We seem to have become intellectually degenerated in our country. And we've found in work with the aging population that cannabis oils and extracts actually reverse mental degeneration and restore functioning in Alzheimer's victims.
So I'm glad that President Trump supports United States service veterans and medical cannabis.
Amen.
We're going to save some lives. I'm glad that President Trump prioritizes protecting our children from human traffickers over busting up medical cannabis that's saving service veterans and incidentally preventing abortion. That's right, cannabis prevents abortion.
It does.
There was this plant in the Bible, they called it in Hebrew cannibalism. It's the tree of life, and it awakens your intuition in that it lets you hear that subtle voice that says, don't kill that child. That child is alive and it's part of you, and it's in the world now.
If our country was safe there would be no need to beef up security on the borders. But we've seen time and time again, okay, that there are people in this country who don't like our country. They don't like America. And so when you have people in this country who don't like their own country, okay, we got to deal with that situation, let alone bringing in other folks who clearly hate our country and want to do harm to our young people, harm to American citizens. So whenever you have a situation like we have today, you have got to, just like any father, you know, if there was a predator running around the neighborhood, you don't think the father is going to lock the doors and make sure his children are safe and protected? You better believe it. And that's what Donald Trump, as our political father, is trying to do, is to protect us, to protect our rights, to protect our freedom, to protect our jobs.